tonight, we have new details from the indictment of 13 Russian nationals and 3 Russian organizations in an elaborate scheme to undermine the integrity of the 2016 U.S. election.
Now, Colorado is mentioned as one of 8 states the Russians visited, and we'll have more on that in just a moment.
Now, according to the indictment, Russian efforts on this began way back in 2014. They allegedly created fake companies, false personas. They even used stolen, real U.S. identities to infiltrate our political system.
And the indictment says they staged political rallies inside the U.S. while posing as U.S. grassroots activists to hide the Russian ties, and even paid U.S. citizens to promote or disparage candidates.
The defendants allegedly conducted what they called information warfare against the United States, with the stated goal of spreading distrust towards the candidates and the political system in general.
Those candidates included Republicans Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, along with Hillary Clinton.
Now, this afternoon, President Trump tweeted that Russia's campaign began before he announced his run, which means his campaign did nothing wrong.
Now, as we mentioned, Colorado is one of the places those Russians visited. Jennifer Kovaleski has details on that. Jen?
Shannon, and Colorado is mentioned several times in the indictment. Here are the big takeaways. First, and no big surprise here, Colorado's history as a swing state is why we were targeted. In fact, the indictment says Colorado is one of 8 states Russian operatives visited. 2 Russians specifically came here in June of 2014 to gather intelligence for the presidential election. Authorities also believe Russians were told to focus on purple states like Colorado, Virginia, and Florida, believing their influence could pose a greater impact on the 2016 election. The big question now is, what are we doing to make sure our upcoming elections are safe? We've learned Colorado Secretary of State Wayne Williams is in D.C. today for an unprecedented meeting with Homeland Security. Top election leaders from across the country are being briefed on cybersecurity and how states should protect voters ahead of the 2018 midterms. At the Senate Intelligence hearing earlier this week, Dan Coates, the Director of National Intelligence, testified Russia already views 2016 interference as successful and believes they are potentially targeting our elections again in November. Congressman Mike Coffman has been concerned about Russia's cyber attacks. He calls today's indictment unnerving.
Colorado, being a swing state, could be subject to such interventions in the future. This is a threat from the Russian government to the United States to destabilize our political system, and the threat's real, and we need to respond according to it.
And as you just heard there, Congressman Coffman also introduced new legislation to try and put an end to fake political ads online. It's called the Honest Ads Act and does have bipartisan support. The bill requires social media sites to disclose who's paying for ads, similar to what you already see with political ads on radio and TV. I'm Jennifer Kovaleski for Denver 7.
Jen, thank you.